So let's focus really quickly on the key mistakes that people make when they're producing their decks. And then we'll focus on the more important part of what do you do to get people to give you the capital that you need, right? So key mistakes is that it's too wordy. I will say that as in my time in VC, sometimes I would get upwards of 25 to 30 decks a day. And on my 29th deck, I don't want to read, right? Like I need to be able to understand the value of you, your company, and your product, especially at an early stage within the first 1, 2, 3 slides max, right? And I'm not going to be able to go through on a slide that has, you know, a white background and way too many words just to be able to understand what it is that you do. So that, and it's too long, right? This is something you want to only be able to produce enough FOMO. So FOMO is, for those people that don't know, it's fear of missing out. And to do that, you don't actually need to have every single piece of information or detail about your company in these decks. So too long, too much info. There's no such thing as compelling brevity, right? So it's like you need to be able to create this story, craft this story about you, your product, your company that's super compelling, but also really concise, which I think is probably the hardest part about all of this. Number 2, your market analysis doesn't make sense. And I see this a lot, and we'll go into what does make sense in a bit. But the key indicators here for an investor is how big is your market, right? And are you the people that are able to tap into it? And if you aren't able to showcase your understanding of the market that you're trying to tap in, it's a red flag to investors. Number 3 is you don't know your audience, right? So this isn't, you know, you're not doing a sales pitch. This isn't, you know, you trying to get people on your team. You want to speak the language of investors, right? So what that looks like is dollar signs, statistics, and making it clear, concise, and compelling. Number 4 is that your team looks weak. And what I mean by that is you're not showcasing the valuable attributes that an investor would want to see in your team, right? If you worked at Uber, but you're now trying to build a healthcare company, while that experience is great, it's not necessarily relevant. And the way you can also ramp up your team in these slides is by producing a story that makes it seem like you're an expert in this field, right? Number 5 is not understanding your competitors. I see a lot that people say they have no competitors. And while that might be sneaky, you want people to, again, understand that you're super adept in your market. And number 6, especially in the markets that we have right now, you know, it's not that there's a lack of capital out there. There is just more scarcity, right? People are holding on to their dry powder. So you really want to put the pressure on the why now. And if they don't invest today, they're missing out on a potential decacorn opportunity. At the end of the day, that's what they're really invested in.